Hello everyone, I am MD and this is the fourth branch project, the foundation and the parameters of which are discussed in episode 1, episode 2 and episode 3. In episode 1 we discuss the overall aspect of the project. In episode 2 we will talk about common sense. And in episode 3, we will debate patriotism. This is episode 2. If you have not seen episode 1, we encourage you to do so before watching this video. I'll be right back.
I was attempting to find a credible reference for my political economy and public policy paper. My professor recommended The Obama Legacy because of its insightful and factual information. While reading, I discovered the author's political stance, which was supported by evidence. Not only did this book help me get a good grade on my paper, it also further developed my perspective on the US government and politics in Washington. I would highly recommend this book for anyone, whether for academic use or leisure reading.
Welcome to the fourth branch, the first and only program dedicated exclusively for those with common sense, a spirit of patriotism, and a dedication for a more perfect union. Here on the fourth branch, we will discuss topics which might support your belief and topics which might challenge some of those beliefs. The objective, however, remains the same: to achieve a more perfect union. In other words, you have to be an American first, not a Democrat, not a Republican. If you share those ideals, stick around. If not, beware. As mentioned earlier, this program is catered only to those with common sense and a spirit of patriotism. If you have neither, this is the perfect time to turn off the video and move on to something else. I'll be right back. Let's talk common sense. Do you have common sense? On the surface, it is simple. At least most everybody thinks so. Ironically, society has been struggling with this simple concept since the beginning of time. So common sense may not be so simple after all. Throughout episode 1, we mentioned several times that this program is catered exclusively to those with common sense. The reason is actually very simple. We are running neither a popularity contest nor are we in a race to increase followers count. Our main objective is to contribute towards a more perfect union, a goal that is not shared by many and which might require a great deal of sacrifice. It requires individuals who are more concerned about the future of the country than they are of their own political party. It requires individuals who are able and willing to walk away from their party for the sake of the country. And equally important, it requires individuals who are able to discern facts and acknowledge it is such. Those requirements call for individuals with common sense, which brings me back to the question: do you have common sense? How do you know you have common sense? Who decides who has common sense? What is common sense anyway? So, what is common sense? Common sense is defined as the ability to perceive, to understand, and to judge, which drives everybody on the face of this planet to conclude that everyone must have common sense. In reality, very few people do. Here is what some philosophers throughout history say about this topic. François Voltaire, 18th century French writer, historian, and philosopher, says that common sense is not so common. Horace Greeley, a 19th century journalist, editor, and also the founder of the New York Tribune, says that common sense is very uncommon. And the 20th century interior designer, writer, and educator Frank Lloyd Wright wrote that there is nothing more uncommon than common sense. And there are even a few proverbs with similar sentiment in regards to common sense. It should be classified as superpower. So, who has common sense?
After reading several books based on presidents and on Obama specifically, I found that they're typically partisan. The Obama legacy targets the heart of the issue by giving credit to the president where it's due, but definitely coming down hard on Obama on his bigger failures, like his handling of the Syrian crisis.
If you are in college, going to college, you are an educator, a faculty member, or someone with interest in government or politics, The Obama Legacy is definitely a book to read.
My professor recommended The Obama Legacy.
A friend actually recommended The Obama Legacy.
I would highly recommend this book for anyone, whether for academic use or leisure reading.
I would recommend this book to anyone out there searching for an impartial and unbiased look into Barack Obama's tenure as president.
I would definitely recommend this book as a good read for both liberals and conservatives.
Interestingly, the answer is simple. Anyone who has the ability to perceive, to understand, but most importantly, to accept what is logical. So what really differentiates someone with common sense from another individual who doesn't have any is sound judgment. here are a few questions to help weighing in without discussing the intricacies of the detail of the topics which are introduced in those questions. Is it common sense to prevent millions of individuals from having access to health care? Or is it common sense to do nothing about gun massacres across the country for the past decades? Or is it even common sense to borrow to give to those who already have? Common sense doesn't rely on likes or dislikes. It doesn't factor beliefs, nor does it take into consideration level of education, political affiliation, or ideology. Here is an example of such. If you believe you are immortal because of your unwavering faith in God, is it common sense? If you disliked Obamacare because of your dislike for Obama, it is a serious lack of common sense. Common sense is the ability to perceive, to understand, but most importantly, to accept what is logical, irrespective of beliefs, irrespective of political affiliation, regardless of education, likes or dislikes. Having said all that, if common sense is so rare, so difficult to achieve, what is the point of trying to have it? So why is common sense important? Well, number one, common sense allows an individual to discern the obvious from what he sees, does, or thinks. In other words, common sense is a personality trait which helps to avoid making bad decisions and saying stupid things which will need to be corrected or justified. Number two, common sense will help to be able to contribute towards the Fourth Branch Project. I hope this presentation sheds some light on the topic of common sense. We will return next time to debate patriotism, the last part for our introduction before delving into real life topics, socio-political. See you next time. Be safe. Thank you for watching. I hope this presentation provides an idea about the project. If you are able to help with the presentation or any aspect of the project, please do get in touch at your earliest convenience. For any comment, criticism, suggestion, do not hesitate to contact the Fourth Branch. The journey has just begun. See you next time.
What if hip-hop never existed? Do you think there'd be as many heads screaming out, stop snitching? What if Adam and Eve ain't eat the fruit? You think we'd be able to see the truth? Or what if Albert Einstein ain't think of the nuke? Or Smith & Wesson ain't teach us to shoot? You think there'd be as many players out there if there was no boots? What if Martin Luther King survived? You think the New Orleans flood would've caused him to drop and die? I wonder what if and see what is. Stand back from the picture and ask yourself why. What if life wasn't all you thought? What if everything you knew was gone? What if we switched to rights and wrongs?